to mention what has he done, ideas of where he's going with it, and what has been successful. So he's on fire. He's very excited. And to go back, this is another thing, guys. If all we do is get one person, that's an activist, it's a big win. And I met him in person from the tug event, that we weren't sure, and we tried it out. And then I met him and his wife, and we bonded. Even though we've been on Facebook before, I believe it was an encouragement to then come to the Monday meeting, and then he came a couple times, and this is a passion for him, and he's just taken off with it. So I'm very excited about Tug, and I'd like Paul McKinney to come forward and share. Okay.
See me if I stand here.
You'd rather be that way?
Yeah.
Is Aaron taking it?
I can go over there.
Oh, you want to look at your
prefer
thing?
to stand there.
Can you bring your little guy here? Is that a good thing? Okay, I'll move that.
The tug event, are you talking about the movie?
Yeah, it's just one of the movies.
Yeah.
And in fact, this week on Tuesday night in Arlington, I think there's a few tickets left. And I'm going to take some of the fluoride stuff there, but there's a movie called Cowspiracy that looks really good.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's good.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Cowspiracy.
Cows.
It's about how that's created a lot of our environmental problems.
Moo, like moo cow,
Yeah, that
cow conspiracy.
Well, this is either going to be a 10-minute talk when Regina cuts me off, or it's going to be a 2-minute talk, kind of depending on what response I
Which do you
get first.
prefer?
We might ask you lots of questions.
But where I'm going to start is, how many of you,
Everybody's going to pay attention to Paul now. We'll hold questions until the end. Okay.
how many of you, well, I'm going to ask questions
Oh.
first.
Oh,
How many of you have talked to a stranger this week about fluoride and either signing the petition or coming to the meeting? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Not a stranger, but
No,
Everybody
first question's
say
a
they
stranger.
accommodate on
First
the-
question is talking to a stranger. Because this is talking to a stranger is not a skill that everybody has. Even if you're an activist, it's not a skill that everybody has. I mean, it's something that some people that call themselves salesmen don't even like to do. Okay? So I'll ask again, how many have walked up to a stranger and talked to them this week about fluoride?
last week.
Okay, that's actually really pretty good, okay? I mean, most times I ask that question, it's just, one or two, all right? So the next part is how many of you have gotten your friends to sign the petition this week?
Cross-posted places. I don't know.
And do you know if they signed? Because you can go to the petition site and you can kind of look and see the last couple of people
Yes.
that signed.
They seriously said that.
Okay. Because, my feeling is, I've probably in the last week touched about 1,000 people on this subject.
Maybe.
And so I'm really wanting to see more signatures. So that was really kind of where I was coming from. And just real quickly where I started out, I am part of this group called Nextdoor. And when I posted something on there, I immediately started can people hear me?
Well, look,
Yes.
we're not going to be talking
Yes.
what do you need? What? Oh, he needs to leave it by for sure 8:45, and you need to see how to work the machine. Do you want to pause for
I
a
can
minute?
pause.
Pause for a minute. This
Okay.
way you guys can get your little conversations out. Will you teach him how to use it, and then he can record it?
We can go, actually, he can keep going.
Okay.
We'll just, you and I. just-
That'll make good use of our time.
What's me? You can take as much time as
Okay.
you want.
All right.
Yeah.
Next door.
So basically, is anybody in here a member of Nextdoor for their community?
I've never heard of that.
Okay, well, what it is it's a social media group for a neighborhood, okay? Any of you part of homeowners associations? Or something that would have a newsletter, a way of you getting out into your neighborhood, okay? All right, it doesn't look like most people have exposure to that, so just real quickly, once I used that, started a fight with a dentist, no one else kind of came to my aid, but it gave me the perfect opportunity to go point by point and educate. And the guy was wonderful because it kept baiting him and he wanted to fight. And so, it let me get a bunch of information out there. And I didn't realize how effective it was until Saturday morning, okay? And what happened this weekend was where I live, Cedar Hill, had their annual Country Day on the Hill, okay? Of which about 10,000 people show up to, unless you have a big rainstorm on Saturday morning, okay? But there's a lot of people there, so I ran around on Friday afternoon and talked to a couple of vendors, ran into two of them that like, oh, I saw you on Nextdoor. I didn't say anything because I didn't know anything about this yet, but I liked everything that you told me. Tell me more. So even though people didn't respond to that, they did read it and listen, okay? And it kind of gave them a reality TV kind of thing to participate in for real, so that was good. So that's one thing that I did. The other thing is Facebook and emails. When you post something on Facebook, less than 2% of your friends see it, okay? And people can do all the likes they want, that doesn't promote how many people see that. They have to either comment or share. So as of last November, that feature of Facebook is not very helpful, okay? So what you need to do is you need to message people on Facebook. Treat it like it's an email, only send about 10 at a time, or Facebook will notice what you're doing and they'll shut you down, okay? But the other thing that I've noticed with Facebook, since it's got the little thing on the right that says your friends are online,
Okay.
message them, because then you can get a conversation going, okay? And what I've seen with every single person that I've talked to, the first time I talked to them about it, it's like, oh yeah, that sounds good. I remember fluoride's not a good thing. But then they don't go sign the petition, okay? Or they don't, they don't follow through. So you have to ping them again, and don't be shy about pinging them again. My wife has a company where we do this as well for her group of people, and we have found we have to email people 4 times the exact same thing before we respond. And the tool that we use, we see when they open that email. We see when they respond. So we know it takes 4 times, okay? But now they're all legal, so maybe it takes them longer. All right, maybe your friends will be better. But I've got some words that'll help you out on this. If you would, here, let's do this so I can, I'm not going to talk through all of these points, but these are some things that I found that work. Emails are really good and effective. Give them the link to, something that tells them a little bit about it. I gave you a link to a video on here that I like. That's kind of a good introduction. It tells a lot about fluoride without, in a story format. It's the story of the horses, okay? And of the 30-something videos that I've watched, I think it's the most effective one at getting people excited, okay?
Tell them 1 minute about that video.
Yeah, this video is about 6 horses that are quarter horses, high-end horses in Colorado, and they all died. And it took their owners quite a while to find out why, and it is convincingly fluoride, okay? And here's the hook. What is not in the video is the most powerful piece of information that they left out, and I pulled up the legal documents. The level of fluoride in the water, the only source that those horses had the fluoride was from 0.35 parts per million to 1.35 parts per million. Where I live in Cedar Hill, what's on our water quality report is 1.5 parts per million. Okay? So when you add in white bread, grapes, iced tea, all the other sources of fluoride, you're dead. Okay? And I mean, when you watch this video and you tell a person, these are the levels, they watched that video, the 5 people I showed it to this morning immediately signed the petition. Okay? So I think that that's a real kind of powerful approach. Now, when I had all of these people to walk around in this big crowd this weekend, Friday I walked up to them and I was coming from Home Depot and I just picked up the cards and I'm like, they didn't want to touch me because I looked like a homeless person, okay? So I dressed up a little better on Saturday and that made them a little less, But I tried a couple of ways of approaching people and each time it was like, what are you trying to sell me, okay? So the words that I came up with that seemed to work the best was, help me fix our water by signing a petition. And immediately that says, I'm not selling you anything, I'm just asking you to sign a petition, and it's for something that we all care about, good, water. 80% of the response on that was, what's the problem? Fluoride. Oh, I thought fluoride was good for our teeth. That's the #1 response I got. So I gave you kind of a response on here for that, and then I talked about a couple of other topics. Now, usually when I'm doing one of these, here, I'll just send a couple of these. This is a sample of some, this is not what I gave out. This is from another thing I do during the year, which is the world's largest pinball festival. But I get these printed at a place called Print Place. It's in Arlington. And I do that because I can go pick them up if I have to do a rush. And you can do a one day on something. You can go in and Photoshop something, and the reason that I do it like that is I do something different each time, kind of depending on where I'm going. If you need any help with that, if we had a little more time before next Monday, I was going to print up a bunch and just make them generic for us, okay? If this thing goes on and we've got more of these, then I'm going to do that. But if you're ever in a pinch and you need to do something really fast, those right there cost about 2 to 4 cents, depending on how quick. 2 to 4 cents each.
For
depending on
gameplay?
How quick you
No,
need to.
for having this
Oh, sorry.
printed.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, and it's like, and it depends, that's glossy both sides.
That's
okay?
awesome.
And it's 1 to 5 days, and it just, and that's what I'm saying, I like using this place. Okay, but I decided to do this on Friday morning. I was talking to Regina, and I cranked as fast as I could, and I missed their cutoff at noon for same day. So I was like, what am I gonna do? So I
Why
ran,
is it so cheap?
they're good.
Do you have to get a minimum of like $1 million or something?
No.
Okay.
You can do like a minimum of $250.
That is
Now,
awesome.
these right here are like,
In Arlington.
let's just start. These are like 13 cents a piece. Okay.
And why are these
This
more?
one's gonna look in.
I printed these at Costco, and they did them in an hour.
It's like a photograph.
It's a
That's
photograph.
awesome.
Okay.
Let's see what
But
it's.
it's something that I can, hand
Oh, this is a
people,
good one too.
that they can touch if they're not ready to do something right then, okay? I mean, what I tried to do was say, okay, here it is on my cell phone, sign it right now. And, that worked for like 1 or 2 people. Most people, they want to feel like they can think about it a minute and they're not getting pressured into
Tell them,
something.
see, the longer you wait, it's really reflecting on your IQ. Hurry now.
Yeah.
Forget entirely.
And that's what I did. The reason this looks like this does is because these are the Cedar Hill High School colors.
Wow.
Okay? And it's a
That's
big
clever.
kind of football town, so I kind of did that. I scarfed the graphic off the Cedar Hill website, so it had the little Cedar Hill kids.
That's
And,
awesome.
and I
Very clever.
just hit the thing that says, for Cedar Hill, we're twice the EPA recommended level of fluoride, okay? And it does these 3 things, boom, 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 boom. And
No, the document he has says that. It's,
these,
EPA.
these little QR,
he'll get to you in a second. Would
point
you
4,
explain that?
yeah, point 4 is where you get fined, okay? Point 7 is from 2011, and that is now the recommended maximum level. They can't
Point
fine you at that level, but they're telling you, hey, we told you it was point 7, don't sue me, okay?
But on his document, it shows that their water is testing at 1.5.
1.5 parts per million.
Wow.
And it used to be 1.2, was it right?
It's always been, since 2011, it's been 1.5. I don't know what it
1.5,
was before that.
2011. Okay, you don't care
Now,
because
the good
this is
news
what you got
is-
the document. They won't be fined.
I don't know that I'll be passing a lot more of these out in Cedar Hill, but if you lived there in 2011, it probably was 1.5. I sent some water to a testing lab on either side of all of my filters to find out what it was. I just got the results back today. We're up close to 0.6, okay? Which from everything I've read is still bad.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? With
There you
everything
go.
else, I mean,
There you
it's
go.
still
It's still
horrible.
bad.
But right now, man, I can set people on fire with this data. So
And you
this
got
is
the
great.
document, and when you
Yeah.
made the document.
Now, this little QR code, I don't know if have any of you ever used a QR code before? Okay.
I don't have a.
Yeah.
Smartphone.
You can download a free app to your phone. You hold your phone over it, and it like takes a picture, and it takes you directly to the website. anybody under the age of about 25
They all
uses
know about
these,
these.
all right? I walked into a barbecue place, I said, hey, I'm here, and I used my intro, and 8 people in the line all went like this, I handed it to them, one guy took it, started scanning it, entered his data right then, okay?
It's kind of like a
So-
scratch ticket, you just gotta
Yeah,
look it up.
yeah,
Some
so-
people use that
and then gave me the card back so I could use it with somebody else, and I'm like,
Nice.
that's
Does
kind
that put the picture on their phone, you mean?
yeah, this pulls up the website on their phone. The minute they scan that, boom.
Takes them
it's on
right
the
where you
website.
want them to
So
go.
it's just something I usually throw on, you know, right
It's
now.
smart, that's
Maybe
exactly
5%
what you should do.
people use it, but it's a whole lot easier than typing in that little URL. The only thing I put on here was the URL for the petition, because the petition has all this great information in it, and it's got a click at the end for sending to the individual messages to City Hall, and then I wanted them to connect with us on Facebook. So that, all I'm saying is that's kind of the guts of what I was trying to get across with doing this, and just kind of go through the side effects. You know, another thing that I thought about that I wish I had done is just take a clipboard with me with some paper, and just for people that wanted to sign right then, just said, hey, you know, just put your name and address and email down, and I'll enter it for you. You know?
But that's a good idea for whoever's gonna go to the farmer's market or any of these other places tomorrow. Okay, I'm sorry.
And if you can print it up on a piece of paper first, it looks a little bit more official. I mentioned where they do the QR code, and then I've got the text that I've sent in my emails to people with this horse video. It seems to be working, and then I just have the link underneath it. So,
Now, you said you sent out a lot of emails. Could you touch on that again, or when you were talking about real estate companies?
yeah, the other people that I'm talking to is real estate agents, because real estate agents want to be way ahead of the game of before stuff starts coming out about fluoride, and they go, wow, in the 35 municipalities in North Texas, Cedar Hill has the highest water level of fluoride. What real estate agent wants that? What chamber of commerce person wants that? I have been shocked that I've walked into businesses, 90% of them already know that fluoride is bad and they want to help. I'm like, yeah, that is not what I was expecting.
People are like that,
You know?
yeah.
So,
Smart
you might be surprised if you start, going that route. I mean, anyway.
Does anyone have a question for Paul? Comment, question?
Well, I encourage you to, tomorrow, reach out to 5 of your friends, and that the little thing about saying, can you help me with our water? Can you help me by signing a petition with our water?
Could you sign a paper petition, just go down your street and?
Yeah, absolutely. You can knock on the door, you can do the paper petition, but you need to get the name, the address, and the email to be able to enter it. Some people aren't comfortable just giving you that.
But your neighbors might,
You look like you have a question, and I haven't met you on Paul, by the way.
Kevin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
When you said the name, email, and that address, the name and email sort of like public information stuff, but the address, I would be hesitant to give that out. If you
Right,
walked up on
exactly.
me.
Which is why maybe you want to pull up the website on your cell phone,
Yeah.
or...
but if you went to their door, you have their address.
Right.
If you walk down the street.
But, if you got it pulled up on your cell phone, if you don't mind sharing, it's real easy for them just to do it at that point.
If one-third says yes.
Or
then-
just say, if you're willing to give me your email, I'll email you the information of where you need to go sign. I mean, it's the idea of make it as easy for them as possible, and hopefully where they don't have to think about it, do it another time.
So, how long does it take to get these?
You can do them one-day turnaround if you get them to them by noon, okay?
Would you work on still making us one for this event on Monday? Because look
you
how
know,
many things we're gonna be going to.
Probably wouldn't get them out until, how many would we want to print?
Oh, I myself, of these little square things, we've gone through 400 more.
See, I was thinking about putting the map and everything on the back, and then putting a little bit of
I don't know how much
information.
time, it looks like a lot of time goes into designing.
It takes
this.
about 4 hours to make one
You
out.
wouldn't have to be that fancy,
Right,
okay?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm
But
thinking more of this extent.
something like that,
you know.
yeah. But, and actually, I like the texture of this one better. This is a little gloss, it's nice. I mean, you got it done,
Oh,
it's awesome.
I will do
Did the
them.
purpose.
I will do them, but if we're gonna turn it around in a day or two, and I
What's the
figured,
cost?
you know, if we crank out, you know, 3,000 of them in a day or two, the cost is just under $200. So anyone that wants to contribute, if we
Okay,
do that,
we'll talk more about that,
Great.
yes. I think it's important that we have something like this, even
And-
though,
well, I guess
we
that's-
have.
Halloween
Let's-
themed with the
let's-
fluoride monsters cost to the ratepayers.
Oh, my goodness, what a great idea.
I know.
Print these cards out and stick them in the candy bags.
Ah,
I'm not joking.
that is a great idea.
I'm in March.
Yeah, that's Monday, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't do it for the event.
No,
You just
no,
do it for the
that
petition.
one's
Okay,
gonna,
but let's, okay, let me come back and
let's play with
let's
this.
come back to the event, okay?
Okay,
So
yeah, let's
if
come back to the
If we
event.
kind of begin with the end in mind, all right? Our goal is to get city council members voting, saying, we don't want to renew.
Right.
That is our goal,
That's right.
all right? And the lead into that goal is, we want a big town meeting
Right,
where they get informed and they see a big crowd.
right.
And the media is there.
That's
So we
right.
need to concentrate on getting the media there and getting a crowd there. Other than personal friends that we can get involved, or somebody that is really already supercharged about fluoride, that's willing to get in their car on a Monday night and drive over there, the only other people I see coming right now are people that live 5 minutes from there,
True.
and they're kind of interested.
That's true.
Okay.
Or it's his councilman. Like, some people may just want to go because, they've been wanting to ask Sheffy about, their dog or something, you know what I mean? So there will be people that'll just come just because he's an elected official.
So, if we do these,
Mhm.
okay, then the only place that I can see that they can go in someone's hand with the map on it, if we're printing 3,000 of them or something, is to canvass that neighborhood.
Well, what I was thinking about too, and I didn't bring this up, but the Sunday before, which we know we're talking about the farmer's market type thing, that it's at the half-price books. And then I was thinking, even like, it used to be called Vineyards, there's a Whole Foods right there that is at Abrams and Gaston. And, just kind of stand on the sidewalk and talk to people. Those are all people that are going into Whole Foods. And actually over in Casa Linda is a natural food store. It's another natural groceries. If we just hand them out to people, parking lots, cars. I used to do this, we'd always put them on the car windows.
That can get you, the putting them on the car windows there's actually a law against that
I
now.
know.
So,
They usually don't. It is a natural grocery. Oh, good. Maybe you
So-
could show him.
so really,
because he could do whatever.
here's the question, if Paul jumps through and gets these to Regina by Thursday or Friday, do we have people this weekend that can spend probably
Several hours.
four to 8 hours walking around handing them out? And then would it be a door, if we do a door-to-door kind of thing, instead of doing these for a little bit more, we can do door hangers?
I don't know.
I can commit to the Hickory Meadow
Good,
Market Sunday.
good. We'll talk more about whether this gets printed or not, but I do want commitments of people that will hand things
Yeah, unless
out.
we get canvassers, don't get 2,300, it sounds like.
Well, you guys who go to the college complex this Saturday night, somebody ought to be able to just hand them out there.
Yeah, we already got something,
It just has the information on it.
Yeah, I mean, just something, but if we're gonna do a print, I know, but if we're gonna do something that's printed in really pretty and glossy, give them that. People
Oh,
read
yeah,
that.
of course I'll give it out. I'm going there. I'm going to college complexes, and the TTP.
So what's our
TTP
first
people will be there.
place that we'd want to hit? Thursday?
What's Thursday again?
Uh,
Thursday.
It's
Thursday,
9/11.
9/11, but it's regulars that all know about it.
How about we hang around here at SMU, the young crowd, I think would be.
That's not a horrible idea. Although some.
That's one thing that we didn't talk about, who to target, okay?
I want to say one more thing while I'm thinking about it, because I lose my train of thought. Remember, we have a list, he pulled up a list of professionals that have put their name out there. And some of them are kind of in the Dallas area, some of them maybe even Austin or Houston. We need to divide that list up too.
Well, yeah, we need some folks in here that are willing to we'll give you part of the list, and you need to figure out what their phone number is and call them and let them know about it. And see
To
if you
sign
can
the
get them
petition.
committed to-
They've already put their name out and it's on a list, and I think it's even in one of his books, but he pulled it up. These people, and it's a lot, 750 or something. I mean, that's a lot of people to sign. the petition, so that's another thing, which I'm sorry, I deviated.
No,
Because
I think it's
we need to
important.
stay focused for Monday. The real focus of this meeting is Monday, but this is all
But
important.
that list,
It's
that
like,
list
ah.
are the people from Monday.
That's
They're
true.
the ones that
That's
are
true.
here local, they're the
Oh, wait,
ones.
remember I was saying too, the Parker, Chiropractic College, you came in late, but I was saying, we really need to get over up there because people go there that are going in and out. All those customers would be probably our people. Kind of moderately close enough on Northwest Highway. We need to get that place, people handing out something there.
And
Walnut Hill. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, John raised his hand, I apologize.
Someone said here that people that are 5 minutes away from where the meeting is going to be
Right,
would be a prime target.
right.
Would that make a lot of sense to canvass that area?
That's what he was saying.
That's my neighborhood.
That's his
5
neighborhood.
minutes walking.
That's really true. And that it's called Little Forest Hills and Big Forest Hills, are maybe the kind of people, I mean, it's possible, it's a good possibility. There's the farmers, I know, but they won't be printed by this weekend, I doubt. I think it's kind of a cost-effective thing that I'm not sure if we can really do that for this weekend.
Well, I'm gonna go through the thing
I know, but
tomorrow. I'm gonna try to go to that thing tomorrow, and the people who
Oh, yes,
run the neighborhood association, people should be there. And I'll try to talk to the head of the neighborhood association. If I get them to help me,
well, that's what's so cool
That's
is
the best
both
way
of
to
these
do it.
guys. He got 1,500 people because he got the leader of the neighborhood association to put it out on
we
email.
have a strong neighborhood association.
We need like Boy Scout email lists, and we need people with lists,
if you,
too.
let me make sure I understand this, but if you've got a strong neighborhood association,
Extremely.
that is the best way. of
You
doing
miss
it.
But I'm
Yeah.
not in so much. But not so out either. I do shows for them. I do enjoy, but I do stuff for them.
You don't have to be a member, I mean, you're still a.
No, I'm a friend of theirs. They have picnic every year. I play.
Yeah, I find the president or the beautification committee group,
Yeah.
the garden group, whatever.
Yeah.
that-
I'll do that.
Tell them Howard
I've been
Garrett,
real
yeah.
busy, like,
Yeah, and so the other thing too is Paul Connett, when he saw the 5-minute video of Howard Garrett taking a stand, he said, we need to get this information to all the garden groups. So trust me, I don't know how you exactly find them, but there's probably a rose garden group and, all different kinds of types of
Lots of
garden
meetup
groups.
groups for
What?
hydroponics.
Nurseries.
The nursery-
Walton's is right
Rodentas.
across the street from the Arboretum, which is right behind that.
Walton's is right across the street.
Rhodey's is right up Garland Road, just north of 635.
They might let you put a stack of these out.
Rhodey's will be 100%
Will you
support.
help?
I will contact them.
You'll be in charge of that. I know you've done so much, but that would be great. People taking commitments in chunks, We really need a big group on Monday, so, okay.
so what are we having to give out? I mean, what do we have?
Well,
We
if
got
I'm-
this, we can make more
Well,
of
I don't
these.
know what those look like. Is that the one he put with the skull?
No,
Okay.
but it's a smaller version.
Whoever's handing stuff out, we'll talk to me before you leave. We'll look at this, yeah. That sounds good. Yeah, anything that you'll take your pocket money to and go make some extra copies, Because not only, it's 6 cents a copy if you go to Office Depot. You